and say the handshake was a problem. Because Uhuru has tried to live with what we agreed. But one Uhuru is pulling this direction, the other one is pulling this opposite direction. So if you have a problem with your boss, take a walk, get out of it.
You cannot have a deputy who is already imagining that you're outside office. Actually, he started the campaign in the year 2013.
Prime Minister, you will disappoint minor commander if you not be a presidential candidate in 2020. Hiyo ni kukuambia tu ya kwamba mimi sijui kama utakuwako, lakini mimi nakwambia you will disappoint me.
Naweza fikiria kwamba utapanda pale juu kwa sababu watu wa Kikuyu na Wajaluo wamekosana, umepotea. Sasa hiyo imekwisha. Sisi tuko pamoja na hii safari tutaenda pamoja.
Wengine hawajasoma ile kitabu ilipotolewa mara ya kwanza. Washaanza kupiga siasa ya kupiga ile mambo ya BBI. Jameni, na nimemuuliza Mheshimiwa Raila aongee na ndugu yake. Hii kitabu itoke next week. Tuisome sisi wote alafu tuanze safari.
All right, so those are some of the leaders from the Mount Kenya region. Never mind that Amena commanded from Nairobi County, rather. I would have wanted to begin with you, Senator Cherargei, but for obvious reasons, let me start with Senator Mwaura. And when you listen to those representatives or leaders from parts of central Kenya speaking the way they are, do they represent the general view of the Mount Kenya region as you know it?
First and foremost, I want to say that Isaac Mwaura tries to be as objective as possible because Kenyans also need to see both sides of the coin, and that you will always expect from me. Now, I think it is everybody's right to support whoever that they are supporting. I think the Mount Kenya region is divided right down the middle. We are not seeing a united Mount Kenya region the way we have seen in the last election since 1997, I think. Because 92 we still had Kibaki Matiba moment. And so therefore this is a side that is supporting, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. We've seen Peter Kenneth severally being hosted, and the group around David Murathe, I think this this is their face of Mount Kenya, Peter Kenneth. And of course now you've seen Jeremiah Kioni and many others that may not have been in this meeting. And of course I think it was historical, seeing the many, elders from Mount Kenya region going all the way to Bondo. I think that is quite historical, and I could see, Right Honorable Raila Odinga was quite overwhelmed, and his brother. Now you cannot say to what extent, therefore, this support base is in Mount Kenya region. Is it 10%? Is it 20%? Is it 30%? That is a matter of conjecture. But certainly, the other side also, has William Ruto. And especially the younger politicians, they are coalescing around that, So you will be seeing increasingly these divisions. Eventually, of course, it will lead to a situation where, the 2022 election will definitely show who has the majority. The strange thing is that, as of now, there is no strong presidential candidate from Mount Kenya region. Because if that was to be the case, then you would say that then people can coalesce around him. What we are seeing are people want to succeed President Kenyatta, but then also having their side supporting another presidential candidate, and you've seen what Minor Commander has said, out of Mount Kenya region. Now, this is unprecedented. Mm-hmm. This is totally unprecedented because people for the longest have come to vote for their candidate, but also against Raila Odinga. Now, this time round, you have a sizable chunk of people saying we are going to support Raila Odinga openly for the first time, and not just people, one or two individuals. It's like part of the core of Mount Kenya region. So basically, it depends on whether then BBI will provide a momentum to mobilize, the support base and to therefore showcase that they need this group has clout. Mm-hmm. I think the William Ruto side claims very clearly that they are the ones with the people. Time will tell.
Okay, interesting. So, Senator Cherargei, of course, reading the mood there, and of course, what Senator Mwaura is saying, it should appear that Mount Kenya is practically up for grabs. And from the side that you are allied to the Deputy President, how much of strategy are you laying to ensure that you're able to convince as many residents and leaders of central Kenya as possible?
Thank you, Mutuku, for this opportunity. I think if you have seen the Deputy President and how we have developed a narrative of tribeless hustler movement, where we don't, you don't despise you because of your economic status or tribe or region or affiliation. So what is happening in Mount Kenya region, I don't have authority to discuss about it. But it is very interesting that Raila Odinga yesterday did rubbish the claims that the elders did endorse him for 2022, which is very interesting. I thought that was the intention all along. But after realizing, and you know, in my culture, whenever elders want to crown you to be the elder or to be a leader, they don't come for you. You go to them. It is a tradition. It is a culture where we have. But this one is an interesting scenario where the elders were looking for somebody to endorse. And therefore, from where we sit, I think what you should be asking Sam is how do we ensure we work together with 47 million Kenyans from across the country, knowing that our movement, which NCI see as Trump genocidal, where we are now discussing issues of mama mbogas, issues of mikokoteni pushers, issues of wheelbarrow, the small people, what you call the small people, is us. We want to have a tribeless conversation. We want to have every Kenyan, which is 40 million plus Kenyans working with this extended deputy president. And you have seen the deputy president as continue to engage Kenyans from all shades and walks, regardless of the region, tribe, and economic status and political affiliation. You have seen we are engaging from. So where I sit, I think Mount region will decide, and regarding Kashagwa and Isaac Maura has put it absolutely well that it depends on which side of the coin that you look. But I think this handshake, I think Raila is using to jam himself to Mount Kenya. And as you are aware, Mutuko, that the 2022 will only be a two-horse race. That will be Dr. William Ruto versus Raila Odinga, and we are just seeing that shaping up. So we don't have a problem as people who support His Excellency the Deputy President. We continue to engage in a tribeless conversation, the issues of development, the issues of economic status, the issues of engaging Wananchi direct, and that is why the system has decided, and the deep state has decided to use state-sponsored violence against His Excellency the Deputy, because they have realized he's ahead of the pack, and that is where we sit.
All right, Senator. So, Senator Ledama Olekina, of course, in this country we have known the culture of political promises, whether you call them MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding. First, there was the NAC one. Then there was, in 2007, there was the arrangement within ODM. Then come 2013, there was that MOU within CORD that was revised into what became of NASA in 2017. But shortly after the election, that was forgotten. And now we are seeing these leaders going to pay allegiance to the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, never mind that he says that he has not yet confirmed participation in the 2022 election. But what are we learning from the history perspectives that we can look at? What are we learning in the culture of political promises and MOUs that leaders arrive with or reach with different leaders?
One of the things that I see that we're learning is that in this country, it depends on your own personal interest. What is it that you want? And you rightfully stated, or one of my colleagues rightfully stated that in Mount Kenya region, there is no clear successor of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So really, you've got to align yourself with where you think your interest would be more protected. And this is the reason why I keep on saying, it is about time that we now start focusing on ideology rather than politics of interest. Because when we focus on ideology, then we can narrow down to the problems that ails this country. I was very happy to see my party leader hosting the Kikuyu nation in his home, because there's been a lot of animosity between these two ethnic groups. I think we should encourage that kind of meetings where we try to make sure that there's peace. And then within this peace, we can then discuss about ideology. It is true, the Right Honorable Prime Minister has not yet declared his candidature for 2022. It is upon him. I mean, he can definitely decide it at any given time. But one thing that I'm quite pleased about his position, and also the position of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, is that this country should not be in a political campaign on a daily basis. We have so many problems that ail this country. What we should be discussing really is how do we stay away from these debts that we're incurring from the Chinese. These are very serious issues. And I do hope that this peace will be able to prevail so that we can be able to stop any attempt of us going back to 207. And the best way for us to move forward is to become pragmatic and to say, look, let's appreciate each other. Let us defend the right for everyone to be heard. You know, I heard earlier on that you were discussing that Musalia Mudavadi had a meeting in Nandi. Actually, Musalia Mudavadi attended a funeral. You know, I happened to have seen him when he was traveling there. And then I know there were prayer meetings in
I thought I come from Nandi.
No, I'm very sure. I'm 100% sure of this. The family, I met with the family when they were attending a burial, when they were actually flying out to go and attend a burial. Those are facts. Okay. So the truth of the matter is this, so that I can finalize my thoughts, is that we are learning two things. One, that clearly there's no a rightful successor in the Mount Kenya region. All right. And then also the people of the Mount Kenya region wants to have peace, which they have not had peace with the Luo nation. And we encourage these kind of things. I hope that even the Mount Kenya people will have peace with the Kalenjin nation, with the Maasai nation. We've never had a problem with them. And then all of us now sit down together and talk about how we can move this.
Senator, I hear Senator Cherargei saying that they are trying as much as possible to rid their campaign from politics of tribe. Do you think that's pretty ambitious, or it's a possibility that it can be achieved by 2022?
Well, I think we can. Honestly, I think we can be able to move away from that. And what we are seeing, when you see the Kikuyu and the Luo coming together and talking, these are two ethnic groups which have been on the opposite, you know. So we encourage that, you know. I actually am very pleased to see that, you know. So really, because the Kikuyu nation are very industrious, they have, you know, they are spread across the entire nation. So when my colleague Cherargei talks about having a tribeless campaign or political trajectory, really, that doesn't really, to me, it doesn't hold any much water, because even his own deputy party leader invites ethnic groups from every community to his home. You know, last week last week he had the Maasais in his home. Nothing stops him from inviting the Kikuyus. What we need to learn is that we need to appreciate each other. We just need to change the rhetoric. We need to be mature. We need to be able to be progressive. When we talk about that, let us talk about one Kenya, one nation.
All right, Senator. And Honorable Gachagua, I'm really waiting to hear what you think about the meeting, the meetings in Bondo over the weekend. But as you look at it, there was the promise that Uhuru Kenyatta was going to serve his 10 years, then William Ruto was going to follow. But there are people that have been saying that that was a personal promise. I'm just wondering what happens with all these promises and MOUs the politicians give to each other, and what are your views as the region that you come from prepares for 2022?
Thank you, Sam. There is nothing wrong with the people from the Kikuyu nation going to visit the former Prime Minister. That is in order, and it is as it should be. But let's also be careful. Let us not call it a meeting of elders. I want to say clearly, Sam, you may not know, the elders who are said to be there are not elders. The likes of Zach and Odia are young people who are not even married. The definition of the Kikuyu elder is cast in stone. It's somebody of a certain age who has a home, who has an address, who has done several things in life, and he is respected in that community. Those who are just young people who are taken there by the leaders who took them there. And if you wanted to know, they are not elders. One, Kikuyu elders don't queue for food.
They don't know what?
Number two, they don't take soda and bread. Kikuyu elders take meat. They don't even take it with ugali. They don't take it with mukimo. They don't take it with the potatoes. They are served when they are seated, and the meat is made in a certain way. That is how you know those are elders. The minute I saw them queuing for food, that is not Kikuyu elders. Number two, the people who took those so-called elders there, Raila Odinga should be very, very careful, because I think people are really taking this guy for a ride. And much as I don't like him, as a Christian, I'm actually feeling for him because he's being conned. If you look at the Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, in the year 2013, he was a deputy president to Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi did not get a single vote where Honorable Kioni voted. That should tell Raila Odinga who are these leaders who are coming. Number two, Peter Kenneth has run for office. He disappears and only comes back after every 5 years. When we have been suffering and we have been crying, the Mount Kenya, we have a problem with tea, we have a problem with coffee, we have a problem with milk, we have a problem of demolitions, we have a problem of businesses in Yamakema. He has never opened his mouth. He just came recently that an election is coming to say that he wants to lead the Gema nation. If Raila Odinga looks at his performance, the last election, he hardly made 40,000 votes in Nairobi. You know, whom does he represent? A guy who cannot get 40,000, who can only get 40,000 votes in the whole of Nairobi, where there are over 2 million votes. He should know whom he is dealing with. If he looks at Maina Commander, he stood for Starehe. He was followed by Jaguar. The only thing I agree with Maina Commander, I agree with him, that I'll also be very happy to have Raila Odinga on the ballot. He's a worthy opponent. He's a man who would want to have on the ballot. So let's come to the issues of promises. There is nothing personal between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. It was a public covenant in Nakuru, and all of us were part of it. There before, people used to make covenants in the boardrooms, but the covenant between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto was not their covenant. It was a covenant between the people of the mountain and the people of the Rift Valley. They are just custodians of that covenant. We are the real owners of that covenant. And the real owners of that covenant wants to honor it. If the witnesses have a problem of honoring that covenant, the owners of the covenant wants to honor that covenant. Because we were part of it. It was in public. The president is on record, not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times, saying, yangu kumi, ya Ruto kumi. Those things he has said without any prompting. Nobody asked him to say it. He said it from his heart, and he has repeated it severally. And we heard him clearly, and we liked what he told us. And this man he introduced to us, somehow we have come to like him because he's always coming to see us. And I want to say, Sam, what is happening now in the mountain region, we don't want the politics of brokers. If Raila Odinga wants the support of the people of central Kenya, let him not call some people to Bondo. Let him come to Kiambu, to Kirigiti Stadium, and address the people. Let him come to Muranga, to Ihura Stadium, and address the people. Let him come to Nyeri, Rurengo Stadium, and address the people. Let him go to Embu Stadium and address the people. Let him engage with us directly. William Ruto has been coming and engaging us directly. We want politics of direct engagement. These brokers have used us for too long. They are brokers of our coffee, we have lost. They are brokers of our cabbages, we have lost. They are brokers of our tea, we have lost. We are done with the political brokers. We want a direct engagement. Anybody who is interested in the support of the mountain should come directly. And even Raila Odinga, when he comes, he will be received well. There will be no issues. We will listen to him, what he has to offer us. If he convinces us that he has a solution to our coffee, to our tea, to our milk, to our businesses, to our environment, to do business and make profit, we shall elect him. If Musalia comes and makes up a case that he understands our economic matters, we'll elect him. Let me tell you what is happening in the mountain. Yes, we don't really care about our own because we have had our own, but we are still very poor people. Our people have really suffered. Our businesses have been destroyed. Our things have been touched that they are counterfeit. Our people have been auctioned. We no longer care about our own. What we want is a leader who has practical solutions to our economic problems. What the people of the mountain want is prosperity, is money in the pocket. Anybody who has a solution of how we can put money in the pocket is our ally, and we are game with him. So we invite all these leaders not to deal with the political brokers like Murade, not to deal with the political brokers like Peter Kenneth, to come directly to the people of the mountain.
Okay, all right, Honorable Gachagua, I'm not sure you can hear me, but as we wind up, so Senator Ledamo Lekine, I want you to have the final word on this because you clearly hear Honorable Gachagua trying to dismiss the representation of the elders that went to Bondo. But all the same, at the end of the day, it's about the concerns that Kenyans have, the service delivery that they need. How do you ensure that you're able to meet them? Yes, the politicians can fight about whatever they want to fight about, but ensure that once those that are elected do deliver. How do you ensure that and ensure that voters make the right decision come 2022?
I think the first most important thing, and I keep on re-emphasizing on this, is for us legislators to know what our role is. Our role is to make laws. Our role is to oversight. Our role is not to implement. The executive role is to implement and to allow the other two arms of government to be able to oversight. The moment we respect each other is the only time that we can be able to take this country forward. I have a big problem with people who are being marginalized. I have a problem with people who are being sidelined. And this is why I keep on being very objective and pragmatic in terms of our laws. They should not be selective. We should not cherry pick which meeting we allow, which meeting we should not allow. We should not apply any double standards. In fact, the younger generation who are now watching us are the ones who should be seeing what we are doing wrong so that they do not make the same mistake.
Okay.
You know, this issue of elders versus the youth, the last thing I checked is that we had more youth in this country than elders. In fact, when you look at the population census, the youth make up almost 80%. So really, maybe these are the youth who are now turning into elders, and culture changes. It is true that the Kikuyu elders don't eat bread or soda, but things are changing. Maybe sometimes the budget is small and you cannot afford to give them all meat. But
Okay,
the truth of the matter,
all right, Senator.
finally, just to conclude on this, I think the executive must also respect the will of the people. Allow people to say whatever they want to say. You know, give us this BPI, let us read it, let us make our decision so that we move forward. Otherwise, we are going to be stuck and we're actually going to reverse the gains that we've gained, over a very long period of time. That's my biggest worry.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, Senator. Of course, we may argue on genuine leaders or not. Unfortunately, Senator Moro, you're out of time because we need to pave way for the next conversation. But all the same, Senator Isaac Mora, Senator Samson Cherargei, Senator Ledamo Lekina, and Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, thank you so much for your time. We'll do this some other time. But up next, we speak to Dr. Njoki Fernandez, who is a health and safety expert. She'll be talking to us about the reopening of schools on what we know that today, grade 4, Form 4, and Standard 8 returned to school after 7 months break to resume what they were doing in March and prepare for the national examinations come March 2021. After the break.